Yeah. I preface this by saying I have food poisoning.
You have food
So
poisoning.
this I have food poisoning.
How'd you get food poisoning?
Some undercooked, uh, their other type of food, chicken or something. Didn't microwave it for as long as I should have, I guess. I don't know. I've been shitting my fucking britches out, I'll tell you that.
Oh, well,
Must have lost like 5 pounds today alone.
all right. Interesting.
This is my
Uh,
flu game.
so here we go. John Street Films, episode 21, the continuation of the probably our largest review. It'll be spanning 5 hours total, maybe, as you're just
Yeah.
huffing back that.
This isn't working.
Uh,
That worked.
there it is.
Booger sugar, baby.
Oh, gosh.
And for those that aren't watching, it's not actually booger sugar, it's just smelling salts. Oh,
Oh,
oh my God. Holy shit. There's a bit too, too deep of a fucking puff. That was,
oh. Well,
my nose is going through it. Okay.
the continuation of our Oppenheimer review and our basic just talk about everything in this film. Um, but before I start us into that, I have to do this.
Known Hollywood A-lister. Oh boy. Okay. What is this deep web shit?
I don't know what this is. The lightsaber.
I am one with the Force. And the Force
Dog.
with me.
How the fuck did the racing community let you come on here?
Ah,
Ladies and
I
gentlemen,
don't
You
Mr.
know.
picked
Dylan
the
Coyle.
fucking
Hello. Hello.
why?
Holy
You picked
fuck!
a
Everybody
hell of
go
a
watch.
time to
Go check the
come
YouTube.
on.
Go check the YouTube.
Now I gotta
Watch what
now
just
I really
happened.
gotta perform with this fucking food poisoning. You picked a hell of a time to bring somebody
Oh,
on.
especially being me. Let me turn on the lights
Welcome.
in here because it's a beautiful computer facility because you see there is a life-size gritty.
That just looks like Dean's room. You upstairs right now?
You live with Dean?
Yep. He's 2 floors
Dean!
above me right now. No, I'm in the basement. I live in the basement like a vampire.
Well, that makes sense. I feel like everything that I've known about you for the last 8 years would lead to you being a vampire or the Dark Knight. I don't know.
Oh,
No,
dude, that was
either one would be valid. I don't keep this thing too far off of me. This thing's always on.
I saw.
You know, I
I
keep that
didn't.
motherfucking thing on me.
I didn't see it completely, but I saw you did like a trailer, of like a Dark Knight,
Yeah,
and that was a
that's the
parody, or is
mask.
it like
That's
a?
gonna be in like the National Film Institute Museum or whatever they call it one day.
It
It'll
should,
be right next to
absolutely
Christian
should,
Bale's.
as it should. I think that if it's not next to Christian Bale's and um Robert Pattinson's, then I don't know what I'd think, what I'd say. Mostly,
Uh,
damn.
Are you excited
I know what
about
to
the new
say.
Gran Turismo movie?
That's a very Very topical question for my line of work.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, listening to the podcast right now, this is Dylan. Welcome, Dylan Coyle. Yay. Dylan, lifelong friend of the show, was on our very first show years
Yes.
ago.
Was
Now
I?
I have to.
God damn,
Yeah.
yeah. The five of us.
On
Me,
the other
Dean,
podcast.
Dean, Zach.
And that was probably our
Zach.
most popular podcast, I think. Was
I
it?
have no
To date?
recollection of
Buddy,
this.
Oh, you were there.
You were on like 4 years ago.
It was
Oh.
like 2020, right before,
It might have been
before
2
the
years.
pandemic.
Right before the
It was
world died.
2019.
Wow.
The world's been dead a while. We just realized it when it was a pandemic.
Is that a line from your Batman movie or
No, it's just a line from my head. But it was, I can't remember if it was 2019 or if it was 2020. But you were
Interesting.
on, I think
It
it
was
was our most
very
popular
early.
one.
It was very early.
Yeah, it
I
might
think
be
to
our
this
most
date, it's
popular
still a
listen
really
to.
popular episode.
And that
I've got to
leads me to
find
my next question is you
Don't know where it is.
bringing Coil on here, is that an attempt to shoot this podcast into stardom?
Yep.
Oh, trust me, it's not going to go into stardom because of me. It's not that doesn't do anything.
No.
You got to change that, by the way. That flag in the background. It's no longer Twitter. Remember?
Oh, I know. I have to change it to Zeet that or something.
Just there's
Anyway.
yeah.
The flag says tweet
Okay.
that, and it's a picture of Wet Jeans, which is a podcast I'm a fan of. So
That's
I'm gonna have
very
to
cool.
I'm gonna have to tape an X over it to Zeet that or Zweet that,
Okay.
whatever the fuck.
I think that's very fair.
I didn't know if you
the
were talking
reason
about
I
his
have-
flag or my flag, but my flag's not in the picture. It's over there.
Yeah, keep your flag away from the camera.
Yeah, it's just the flag of communist Russia.
I mean, hey, that's a great segue.
It is. So
Is
the
it?
reason I have Mr. Coyle, I invited him onto the show today, is because, like
A
us,
communist.
he's a communist.
Nice.
I mean,
love sharing things.
Snowden might have thought that and think that. I don't know.
Yeah. No, but the real reason is he has also seen Oppenheimer and he is quite impressed. And like you, Zach, he's listened to the score numerous times within 2 days of release.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've
I
seen
would
it
expect
twice.
nothing less from a man named Ludwig, though, to be honest.
Ludwig
I've been
Göransson.
bumping that shit.
I can't say his name and with the Swedish.
Ludwig Göransson.
All right. Well, Zach is a man of many talents.
I know you've been. What's the word?
Spit it out.
You've been introduced to a Southern culture for a while. Southern
Yeah,
culture
y'all.
tends to take away the any accent that doesn't involve mud snakes and mud wrestling.
Yes, because that's exactly what I say or I do. You know, I put on the Philly lingo even more being down here because now I feel like everybody expects it down here.
You
Like,
sound like a fucking dickhead.
wow, yeah. Hopefully, my employers do not see this podcast.
Ah,
We'll make sure they do.
God,
And the colleague racing community. I'm the only one who doesn't have a fucking flag in here.
no, you just have Gladiator, which is
All
fine.
these-
It works as a flag.
All these flags in here. I'm the only one who's not. Slow that down. You can't cancel me for that.
so I've been sharing. I don't know what just happened. I've been sharing a bunch of TikToks, and I collected a bunch. These are all a bunch of TikToks of Oppenheimer that I've just been sending to some of my friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like the memes are just fantastic. Like
This
You know.
movie's so good.
there's so much to talk about in so many ways, and obviously the score is one that sticks out first, just because the score is legitimately amazing. I mean, what Göransson, what can you expect? Anything else? Honestly, like he's what, a protege of Hans Zimmer? Is that correct?
Yeah. I think Dean mentioned he's also produced some of Donald Glover's albums
And
because of the internet. He told me that recently.
mhm.
So you can clearly hear the Donald Glover influences in this film. You just got to put an ear to the pavement.
Yeah. But no, yeah, this movie, you have so much to talk about this movie. We did about 3 hours last week, and Zach still didn't get to touch anything on his note sheet.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so wait, you guys did the pod last week about Oppenheimer, and yet we still are doing another podcast about Oppenheimer, and I love that. I love that.
This movie's just so good.
It is. I mean, I love when a movie. So usually, I feel like a movie that is dense is almost a little bit of a negative that you could throw in a movie. But it's so well. The screenplay is amazing from Nolan. And not only that, like I feel like yes, there's a lot of information, but it's all for the most part integral information to try and understand the characters involved, the situations, the mixed feelings and emotions from it all. Things that I have, if anything, negative to say about it. I did know when to leave the theater when I saw it the second time with my dad.
You waited around, didn't you? You did. Oh no,
Dylan. No. The first time I went alone. The second time I went with my dad. I was saying, "Hey, you got to see this," but there was a long line to get food, so I said, "I'll just go. I have already seen the movie, so I'll just go and get our food, our popcorn, and our drinks when the movie's happening." So I waited until they're at the gathering of all the American communists, and I'm like, "I'll be right back, Dad." Came back like 10 minutes later. He's like, "You knew." I said, "Yes, I did."
Yeah.
I feel like it's a very tame sex scene. I could definitely chill with. Well, I'm not saying I would want to chill like with my dad in the theater, but if there was a sex scene I could pick, it'd probably be that one.
And then like
tame.
35
second one.
35 minutes later, you're like, "Oh, hold on, Dad, I forgot something," and you have to go run back.
I didn't think there was a way to get around that, and I thought that one was.
There is, and he looks over, and you're just like this. You just have your hands over your eyes.
Oh man, yeah, that was something I loved. Continuing on, Jean Tatlock on how Florence Pugh plays her character. The decision from Nolan, like Pugh was great. I don't think she was necessarily given anything too crazy in terms of having to show
limited screen time, but a lot of
right.
people in this movie had limited screen time.
But some people, I mean, Casey Affleck just absolutely destroys it in those 2 minutes that he's ever even talked about or shown on screen as Pash. Colonel Pash, that was incredible.
Did they like did they really like expect him like to hype him up? Just to like I felt like when they announced the casts for this movie, was he on the names?
You can't fit all the names on one poster.
Because like, well, not on the poster, but like when all the reports came out, like, hey, this person was added to the list, this signed, they were casted. Did Casey Affleck's name get mentioned?
I don't think
because
so.
They really showed it. Like the way they like shot his introduction is they really teased him, and then he turned around. And he turned around like, oh, it's just Casey Affleck.
Yeah, but it was crazy. I don't know
like if it wasn't Brendan Fraser. Like it wasn't anything like.
Whoa!
Yeah,
it's Brendan Fraser.
Oh yeah, it's Casey Affleck. Like it's just.
But it was just done so menacingly well.
He played an asshole.
And
a great,
but not not just that he instilled that like fear in Oppenheimer's eyes, and Cillian Murphy does a great job playing off him in that scene where you can tell, okay, he's a little bit frazzled right now, and he's trying to almost say what he was talking about or what he did should have happened or was exactly what he was supposed to do. But then Groves, Matt Damon's character, is like, dude, no, that's not at all what you were supposed to do. Well, I think I should have done. No, you shouldn't have talked to him. You shouldn't have known him. And Affleck just played that kind of psychotic, murderer, legal murderer. Let's call him a legal murderer. Like that character. I don't know if Pash has ever killed someone, but I think he probably has.
I think Casey Affleck's ever killed someone?
Probably.
Drunk at a bar one night in Boston? I feel like
I
he's
feel,
definitely killed somebody on accident.
isn't there like a lot of I don't know much about Casey Affleck's history,
He
but isn't
accidentally did it on purpose.
what
He
did he
did it
actually?
drunk on
Did he
purpose.
No.
Now we're
you,
assuming that he definitely killed somebody. I
Yeah,
mean, can we assume Ray Lewis killed somebody? Isn't that public knowledge now? Don't fucking controversial face me. We know he killed somebody.
hey, I'm
And if
not
I end up
yeah, of
dead tomorrow,
course.
then you know
That it
it
was
was
Ray
OJ.
Lewis.
I was OJ.
Oh.
Zach, what's that football on your back, on your dresser
Not
back?
the football player of the fucking past due orange juice that I'm gonna drink because I seem to get food poisoning every 3 weeks now.
You drinking OJ?
No,
Ramen,
no,
yeah,
he's
I'm
currently
drinking that
drinking
OJ,
Bud.
baby. No, I'm drinking Minute Maid lemonade.
Oh,
That's what I
that's
want the viewers
water.
to think.
That's
It's not.
water.
Yeah, that's what they
Oh,
Looks
call it.
very clear.
oh.
It looks very clear to be lemonade.
Yeah,
Listen,
looks a little bit. It's still clear to be lemonade, not quite clear enough to be water.
we're recording this at 10:30 p.m.
So
I'm
regularly scheduled programming.
I'm getting up at 5 a.m. to fly to Michigan tomorrow.
Hell yeah. What do you got tomorrow?
Well, it's practice and qualifying for the Xfinity Series at Michigan International Speedway. We're
Nice.
Damn, you
staying
driving?
now flying. Oh,
No, I mean when you
driving.
get there, you driving?
Yeah, I'm just the fill-in driver if my driver ever needs it. Hey, I don't feel like driving.
He's an e-bug.
Exactly. I'm the e-bug
Or an
of
What the
Cola
fuck is an
racing.
e-bug?
e-bud.
Yes, emergency backup driver.
Can you
I thought you were talking about like a
who
fucking
can you talk to
e-gamer who
install
rides like a fucking buggy. Well, God
Who's
forbid
saying
you
what?
talk about the Amish.
who can you talk to instill the emergency backup driver?
Well, that's actually a thing in NASCAR. Like, if
No,
have you ever?
you gotta call some hey, you're fucking driving right now. You
So
with the
like an accident,
you
like an
Fort
Well,
accident.
popcorn, we need you to drive right now.
so
Cut the brake line.
some drivers are just kind of there or on standby. Um, excuse me, I just burped. Excuse me again, I just burped. Soda.
Take him out.
Take him out.
We don't have.
We don't have manners on this show.
Oh,
No, we don't have the
well,
patience for such actions on this show.
well,
No, me and my clearly Minute Maid lemonade.
your water.
It's my talking point juice.
I like that. The talking. Okay, that's fair. That's a good point.
My
And
mom
I have
doesn't.
4 different drinks next to me, so you'll see constantly throughout the show. I'll just be drinking something.
I did see that. I'm still not very familiar with the world of alcohol. Yes, I went through a little phase right after college.
Well, we can
in the middle
teach you
of COVID,
relatively
where
quickly.
I don't think I want to know everything. I think
Well,
my
it depends on how long you're here. The longer you're here, the more will be ingested and the more will be shared.
Zach knows. Zach probably knows the most about of cheap bottom shelf vodka, and I
Yeah,
know.
I
I know my knuckles
I
around.
have all. I practically have like stake ownership on like Crown Rousset and all the bottom shit. But
okay.
I went to get some today, and for the first time, that like some really old guy walked in, and I was heading to get my Crown Rousset, and he grabbed one right ahead of me. I've never seen somebody grab that shit before.
This is disgusting.
It does the job, and it's cheap.
I just don't know much about
You ever
it.
smelled paint thinner? That's what this shit tastes like.
Oh God, I've never, but oh,
Yeah.
I'm
That's it.
still.
That's what this
I-
bottom
Yeah.
shelf stuff tastes like.
It gets you to the point where you can ask the hard-hitting questions
That's
and
fair.
not feel anything about it.
As any interview should be, the hard hitting questions are asked, and usually, I guess, while intoxicated, are
Yeah.
when the best questions come.
There's a
You
medium.
always fire it
You
off.
go a little bit too far, you have a little bit too much. You need to be right in that healthy medium.
Mhm.
You're not
Fair
afraid to
enough.
ask the heavy questions, but you're also not too intoxicated to like ask someone how much dick they sucked that week or whatever. And if I drank more, I would
I hope I
specify
don't
the
get
gender
fired.
of that person.
Mhm.
Oh goodness.
And these kind of questions always come out first right away, and they come, and when they come, they fucking come hard, just like Zach.
mm,
Or sometimes not at all.
let's blur the background here.
I learn up some stains.
Anyway,
I'm an unknown Hollywood
No,
A-lister.
Mhm.
Did you like my name?
it was
Yeah.
very, very funny. That
Yes.
I'm actually
Yes.
impressed. Your performance, your little show, was very
Cinematic.
it was very you know.
Yeah.
No, it was cute.
That's,
It was a cute
did
little show.
not just say like that. Are y'all participating in Delco the movie?
Yes.
I believe we'll be in the background somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where you
Whatever Brian Holleran's scene is.
No.
very
Wherever I can
nice.
come in
Very
and
cool.
steal a few lines.
I mean, you're gonna try. You ever see
Oh,
you
yeah, I
know
will.
that Key and Peele sketch?
Mm-hmm.
The Key and Peele sketch with the oh, what is it? It's the extras with the zombies and everything, and like the ones Jordan Peele plays the zombie, like the extra zombie that's like speaking his like lines that aren't even his, and the director keeps saying cut because it's apparently Key Michael Key's fault. Like, what are you guys talking about? And Jordan Peele just gets a speaking line or something like that from there. That's gonna be you.
Yeah,
Was
we're gonna have to get Mr. P back on the podcast after I like act circles around Brian.
What was that podcast like?
Um for those two it was just I mean they were just going off about the past. It was like two kids in a candy shop. And I'm just sitting back like and then I actually got asked a question. I wasn't ready for it. Like an hour in.
Very good. Love
it
that.
was. But no,
But it turned out good by the
we
end.
appreciate well Zach especially appreciates the fact that he uh focuses more on the writing aspect of making a good story.
Yeah, and
Which,
everybody else who does is on strike right now.
yeah, uh, not kidding there. Like, honestly, that's a true point. I feel like the the writers are the most undervalued part of any good production. They've always been, and I mean, all the strikes right now just kind of goes to show you how undervalued they are. You see, Marvel apparently was like scanning some background actors from WandaVision.
Yeah, I have that as one of my topics today, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what the headline was, but
I don't think I know this.
it was some extra. I don't know, it was somebody who was like a background actor. They didn't receive any payment or anything. I think it was on a WandaVision or something. You know, one of those heavenly Marvel productions that they've been doing.
Indeed, it was
Yeah.
WandaVision.
You know,
And
they
I am in
scan
outer
the
space.
background actors and then they like uh went over their face with like replicas or something, digital replicas.
That's
And
insane.
that's just this week's headline. Last, I mean, it's
It's
wild. I don't know what kind of world I'm living in at this point. I'd rather be living in. I want to be where you are right now, outside of this shitty fucking Earth.
Well, you can see the marbles because it takes place somewhat in space.
I'll bring my atom bomb.
Back on topic. Very good segue. Very,
this
very
is
good
what happens
segue.
here.
I
We
accidentally made a good segue like earlier. I
I
didn't even
know
know.
you've been the segue master.
we
Expect to
kind
see
Yeah,
of
well,
more.
that's one thing we're trying to get better at because we go down these massive rabbit holes and we got to come up with creative segues and get back on topic. But the problem is we
put
don't
on the
remember
fly.
where the topic started and ended.
Okay,
We did
I like it.
a whole episode. We started off with the topic at about a minute and a half into talking about said topic. No, it was Zach's opening. It was his cold open.
My
Zach's
cold
cold
open.
open. We started, and it just took off down a rabbit hole that lasted about 2 hours, and it was the entire episode.
Interesting.
What was my cold open?
It was about the your underwater adventure.
Oh,
It was about throwing David Zaslav into the ocean with a bunch of other rich billionaires.
yeah, and stealing their wallets.
Yeah. This is around the time of the Titanic submarine.
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
So rich
yeah.
billionaires in the ocean. Then it kind of just took off.
Yeah. Yep. That's fair. That's fair.
Something that when we do get a budget, I want to make like a 10-season series about that.
He was giving you a
I want to
budget.
bring space whales to the big screen, and I want
And
to
that's
like
where it ended. It
I want to
started with
recreate.
throwing. It started with the Warner Brothers cuts, and David Zaslav needs to be thrown into the ocean with
Mhm.
the dead billionaires from the Titanic. But then it ended with Zach riding space whales conquering the galaxy.
Well, that's the plot of Rebels, right?
I told you. I fucking told you.
Did you tell me just because there are space
told
whales
you.
in
I know.
that
Shut
that
the
you
fuck
said?
up. I fucking
They're
told you.
not even called
I
space
told you
whales,
Star Wars had fucking space whales, and you basically told me to fucking suck one. Because
Didn't I asked you what they
told
were
you,
called? They're not called space
and
whales.
you were like,
I told you to show me a
sound
picture
like
of one.
fucking space whales.
I
And
told you to show
fucking
me a
told
picture of
you
one.
Rebels had, which is canon, ended with space whales.
And
No,
we're probably
I
going to
We'd
see
have to
wouldn't
call
space
them.
whales in
know.
We'd
Ahsoka.
have to change the design and do something else. And you were like, "Well, that doesn't look real to me."
You showed me a picture of a fucking blurry. It looked like a picture of a black hole from Interstellar. That's about as
Oh,
high
so
def as it came.
That I also sent him the picture of when the space whales were in Mandalorian.
Dude, I've seen
yeah,
higher
there were.
resolution. I've seen
A,
higher
a
resolution
Purgil.
pictures of fucking Bigfoot, dude.
They're Purgils.
Yes.
They're canon. I hate the
fucking
word
told you
canon.
they're
My
canon.
God.
I mean, you don't want to deal with a canon event right now. This could be a
Oh, we're
canon
in a
event.
canon event right now. You've been in this podcast as a canon event right now.
That's a little scary.
It is, and it's gonna hit you. It's gonna hit you eventually.
And his face is gonna look
Like
like
a space whale
his face
flipper.
is gonna look like Cillian Murphy's at the end of Oppenheimer when that realization finally hits.
I would do unimaginable things to have my face look like Cillian Murphy's.
I will do
Oh my
unimaginable
God.
things to Cillian Murphy's face,
Mm-hmm.
Like,
especially his
take
deep
his face
blue,
off.
especially his deep blue eyes. Do you realize how blue his eyes were?
Do you realize how blue my eyes are?
I don't give a.
What a hostile response to a fellow Star Wars fan. My God.
Ah! I can't see.
Dude, this guy's all jacked up on Coke, on Coca-Cola. He's going through his little sugar rush.
You need the good kind of Coke. You need the legal kind of Coke right here.
Oh, smelling salts.
Good shit.
Oh,
Yeah, I've already taken
You've
two
had
of
your
those.
fair share of smelling salts back in your
I've had.
days.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially when it was takeover time. Oh, I had smelling salts like crazy on the bench during the takeovers. They were. That is another feeling that you just don't understand until you're on the bench tired, and it's like, here, take a smelling salt, the Italian,
Yep.
Yeah, and you're like, whoo, let's go.
Yep. And then Mr. Lindsay yells at you for not getting back quick enough during a power play.
All you gotta
All
do is
right.
get the puck in deep. That's all that matters.
All right. I mean,
But I mean, I guess it's kind of hard to play when you tear your meniscus and you're out for 6 years.
how do you remember all this?
I don't let things die.
It was 6 years.
Well, I got a slash, a two-hand slash playing pond hockey, behind Chris Franges's house, and that
Was it
sliced part of my meniscus. And no, it was not Snowden. It was someone you'd never guess or expect.
Aaron,
Adam?
Nope.
stack it.
Matt the Help.
Was it
Oh,
Casey Affleck? Drunk?
okay.
We're just gonna go on like Zach heard it, but he didn't really.
You know, it's
Yes, it
already
was
been
Casey
said.
Affleck.
Mhm.
Oh, well, it was
What?
Casey Affleck.
Yeah, it was Casey Affleck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, Casey Affleck coming home
Yeah.
from a bar drunk with a hockey stick is more dangerous than a plane heading towards a World Trade Center. It's already happened. I mean, we can't stop it now.
All right.
No reason to get offended.
Look, I did when I went, so I saw I'm just gonna just hard pivot us right back to the movie.
That's what the Casey Affleck thing was supposed to do.
Yep.
But
Nope, didn't work.
everybody thought it was cool to get offended by it, as we do nowadays. Very topical as well, getting offended.
Yes. No, I found some mistakes in the movie.
No
Oh
movie is
boy.
perfect.
Now, are we talking factual mistakes or are we talking like
One factual mistake and one editing mistake.
is one of them going to be the American flags?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Get over it.
so no, I don't care. Like I told Zach last time, there are things in movies that if I find like that I can just let some things slide. Like I was saying to him, I have this opinion, which is a popular opinion on the internet and with movie people that I follow, that Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is a 100 out of 100 movie, the original.
Okay.
It also has one of it also
Have
has
some
one of the
ethical
worst.
issues with what happened in that movie.
It also has some of the worst scenes in film history, like the scene where Charlie's mom starts singing. That's the worst scene ever put to screen.
And
And
yet you have it as 100 out of 100.
that's
Sounds
just
like some hypocrisy.
Wilder
There
carries
is-
that movie to like another level. And that's
There-
some little things I can let slide.
Yeah.
Like
There is
one
something
fucking
to be
star.
said. There's something to be said for rating a movie based on how well it's created versus your actual entertainment from
Yeah.
the movie. I mean, like, no one's sitting around here saying probably saying that Back to the Future is just the best film that was ever created.
No, but it's one of my 100 out of 100 ratings.
Exactly. I mean, we're not even saying that The Dark Knight is the best movie ever created because, of course, you know it's not, Zach.
I know what's not,
No, it's not.
or The Dark Knight is not.
Whatever is more inflammatory to you.
Hold on, restart, because I think I
Oh no, he's not the Dark
misinterpreted
Knight.
something.
Oh, Dylan. So if you're just gonna do this, make fun of aliens.
Oh,
I didn't
Aliens
make fun
is
of
so
Alien.
inferior to
Make fun of
Alien.
Aliens. I'm more of an Alien fan anyway. I
Okay,
love
me
both.
too.
Make
Love both.
fun of, ask him which one the one is the where the Predator comes in.
Yeah, that hasn't been overblown.
Are we talking?
About
Are we?
this,
Is
yeah.
the Predator not the actual Predator, or
That's just a meme.
All you have to do is be aware that Alien versus Predator exists, and that they overuse that joke and they think it's funny. Whenever I watch Prometheus, they ask, "When does the Predator come in?" And it's apparently really funny, but I don't really think it's anything particularly special.
why am I blurry?
I don't know. Are you entering the ozone layer?
So the American flags is the one mistake. But I don't care about that.
I literally couldn't care. And for anyone who doesn't know, 48 states at the time, the flags that were shown in the movie had 50 stars. Whatever. Like,
who gives a fuck?
Historical inaccuracy. Right. It's not even like
that's not the importance of the scene. The importance of the scene is to show that the show Oppenheimer's just absolute mental breakdown while trying to give a speech to the public after minutes after it was announced that both atomic bombs were dropped on Japan.
Not to cut you off from your second thing you were gonna say, but that scene in particular might be my favorite of the entire movie.
It's mine.
It was incredible.
Besides the Trinity test, yes, it's mine.
Trinity test was amazing. But you had a feeling that because of the significance of it, that Nolan wasn't going to mess with it, and he didn't. But the scene following being as good as it is, and it had no right to be that good and that engaging, moves that probably up to my number one. And the coolest / most harrowing thing about that scene is when, so yes, the claps, the cheering, it stops suddenly, and we kind of got silence except for Oppenheimer's breathing and the shuffling of chairs and stuff. But the one scream
at the end, right before it goes quiet.
and I heard that the first time I saw it, and I was
I
like,
thought it
oh,
was
I
a
just gotta.
mistake, but then it gave me like
I got some
my hair
shivers.
stood up. Yeah, I thought it was a mistake. My hair stood up. Then the second time when I saw it in the 70 millimeter IMAX, like, and then I realized what it was. I realized it was on purpose, and I didn't
Yes.
realize why it was so like significant.
And one of my other favorite like little scenes, little additions to the movie that Nolan made was because the death of Gene's Hatlock in real life is kind of scrutinized because some people think that, it was some people think that it was you know, yep. Yep. Um
The old
and then you see
CIA.
the glove for a brief second. Right. And I saw that too, and I was like, I'm
That's
not being gaslit here, am
I
I?
missed it the first time. So I missed it the first
Okay. I
watch.
saw it the first time, but was mhm.
And then when I went back to the second time to see it in the 70 millimeter, I was like, this is the time I'm going to like really look for the shit I missed and like really try to break down some scenes. And the crazy part, I was trying to break down scenes and like, and really understand the dialogue and why things were put where they were, all while
Exactly.
trying to see this in the 70 millimeter. But I was in the first fucking row.
Have you seen the video and it became a
You saw
news
an
thing?
awful lot of chin, a lot of
I saw
killing
like
chin.
I saw an awful lot of Cillian Murphy's chin.
Mm.
And you almost saw a lot of Cillian Murphy's.
Yeah, I almost saw his butthole too.
Oh god. Well, I always get reminded of that scene from It's
When he's
Always
sitting in the
Sunny in
chair.
Philadelphia. Yeah. That scene from It's Always Sunny, where they're talking about Thunder Gun, and they're making another one with Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah.
We show it.
Mm-hmm.
We show all of it.
Yeah.
And it keeps going back and forth until it just ends. And I was thinking that whole thing. Anyway, I saw this like TikTok of I think it was a shot of Willem Dafoe, not from the lighthouse because it wasn't in black and white, but it's him like looking up in like horror at something. I forget what movie that's from.
Eternity's Gate.
Do you remember? Maybe.
It's at Eternity's Gate.
It is.
It's been memed to legendary status at
To
this
death.
point.
Yes.
And it's the
Is that the one Dean sent us in our group chat where it was like,
seeing that's the number one meme for
with the being in the first row.
Oppenheimer viewers.
Yeah, that was a good meme. Insert meme here.
Yeah,
it was made for that.
It's a fantastic meme.
I couldn't imagine watching that in the first row.
I love all the.
Although maybe being that close, you could fucking look a little closer. Maybe there's a couple less stars on the flags. Who knows?
No, but I did notice this other. This is the real mistake. This is an actual editing mistake, and it probably. And the reason I'm letting it slide is because this editor we talked about on the last show. She edits like all of his movies and like Tenet, like all that shit. So she's probably fucking beaten down and
probably
and just feels like garbage, like physically, because of how much time and effort, and her eyes probably hurt, like all that shit. So she might have missed this one little spot. So it's the scene where Oppenheimer and Jean are sitting on the floor the first time he brought her flowers, and she's crying.
Yes.
Right. And he says a line, and it cuts to her. It's before he says, "I'll always answer," and then she said, "Well, then stop bringing flowers." So he says her name in like his first line, and the camera cuts from him to her for a reaction shot, but he's also in the shot, and it cuts to him. He's still speaking, but he's not actually speaking in the shot.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. So it cuts to him, and then he has like 3 words with Jean as being the last word. But it's like a quick 3 words, like whatever it was, something like that. Like, but it's enough to where you can see like his jaw's not moving, like nothing's moving. And then it takes a couple seconds, and then she responds. And I was like, I think they just didn't line up the perfect edit on that one. I think they.
So let me ask you a question.
Didn't crop it. And it was, but again, it was so minuscule. Like no, like I just saw it and I was like, interesting. Write that
Are
down.
you?
Jesus Christ! No matter Barbie's making $1 billion at the box
No,
office, and it's
that's not the reason. It's not the reason, but it was just
bumps it down a whole letter grade for me.
it was just a fucking such a small little editing error that I thought I would just bring up.
Are you in favor of movies almost giving like a first day patch edit, like
Yeah.
on video games for when movies are put to like home release?
No,
No,
there's
because
no,
I agree.
there's no bugs in it. There's no bugs in a movie.
But there are mistakes if
Yeah, and you should.
but
I
that's
mean, you should catch there. You shouldn't have to patch a movie. Like nobody's going out to watch a movie, and there's like some game-breaking glitch where people are like being blown up in the first row. Although you would have thought differently watching some of the memes I've seen for Oppenheimer.
yeah. Like I don't want to. I don't
But
want to
no,
watch.
you should you with all the eyes and all the hours that go into editing a movie, you should be able to catch 99.9% of everything.
and they did.
And
They
if
totally
your
did.
dialogue it doesn't match up with the words, I know Nolan doesn't. He's known for not re-recording any actors' dialogues in his movies. It's not something that he does or believes in. I can look past it, but
No,
I'm gonna
I
drop it
absolutely
from an
look.
A to a fucking C because of it.
No, look, I agree with everything Zach said except for the dropping because
Listen, I'm gonna drop 2 letter grades
Christopher
for each
Nolan didn't
star
re-record a
that was
line,
on the flag, right?
and the flag was 48 stars and they had the 50. I'm not dropping it from an A to a C.
I'm dropping it from a 50 out of 50 to a 48 out of 50.
I'm keeping it as a 100 out of 100. Right.
I think you give too many hundreds.
I don't. I actually do not.
So I've got
You
two
literally just
movies.
gave one for a movie that just came out.
I
Because despite the errors that you clearly just presented,
but I did you not did you
He's contrarian.
Did you black out before I said I can let certain things slide? Like I can let things slide.
bro, I black out every night. It just depends on what time.
I have 12 films in my 100s out of 100s. That's it.
Read them off. Is this Letterbox?
Yeah.
Valid.
I have Oppenheimer.
Okay. Okay.
All right, you continue. What were you saying about Letterbox? We're not sponsored though, but we would like to be.
That would be great.
I still don't have one yet.
I just
I'm
created.
still in the process of creating his.
Yeah, I'm still making it like I'm making my diss track.
I just created a Letterbox account a few weeks ago, literally because I saw Oppenheimer, and I'm like, I've always tried to track movies like in notes or Word docs or stuff like that, but like I want to actually be able to track everything. So I went through hundreds of thousands of movies and just kept adding ratings for some, and putting a bunch of my watch list. And out of like, I don't know, 300 ratings I've given so far, so not like an insane amount, but out of all the movies I've seen so far, I've only given 2 5 stars.
Really?
And it's Oppenheimer and The Dark Knight, in my opinion.
Okay.
One of them Nolan fanboys, huh?
I mean, I even Tenet I love, even though it's got clear issues. I just love the experimentation of like he'll try to put something that's incredibly interesting, and I know a lot of people don't like his use, and I'll even say with Tenet it was definitely a little too much at times, but his use of dialogue or sound over the dialogue where the music is just so loud that it's almost unintelligible what the characters are saying.
That happened a couple times in this movie.
I agree that happened a little bit, but not to like incredibly insane levels. Tenet was kind of wild, but some of it was intentional, and I'm okay with that. Like,
and I'm okay with it happening in this because of how well Ludwig Göransson's score is. You cannot mute that score for a minute, damn it,
dude. I've
even to hear what Cillian Murphy's saying about how the world could explode. I don't give a fuck. Listen to this
fucking
score.
brass instruments and no strings, baby. Take me away to another world.
Oh man, what is your favorite
besides
besides?
right now.
Yeah, can you hear the music? It's just
That's a great one.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
but I do have a comparison that I think is kind of valid. You're aware that Nolan's Nolan's got like his fanboys, his fan
Yes.
base.
Yes.
Taylor Swift also has that fan base, right?
Yeah, of course.
Would
Yeah.
you say those two fan bases are comparable and in some ways kind of insufferable?
I think I
Yes.
think a fan base of any like extreme passion can be that way, to be honest, where it's
I mean,
just
it's nowhere near, I'm not saying it's anywhere near the level of like the bronze sexuals out there. That's just a whole nother level.
Mhm.
But
what?
oh,
So
the
the
LeBron James fans out there.
yeah.
Oh, oh,
Yes,
oh,
the
oh.
bronze sexuals of the world, the worst of the worst. Like you can't stoop any lower than that.
Mhm.
I'm not saying it's to
Cristiano
that level
Ronaldo.
because
Yeah.
again, I don't have any problem with
Those people
Cristiano
think
Ronaldo.
LeBron's better than him.
And this is the difference. I hate LeBron. I hate LeBron's fans. I love Nolan. I also don't have any problem with Taylor Swift. I'm not necessarily
Well, see, Taylor
drawn to the
Swift
music
never
she
played for
makes.
the Eagles, so
But you just hate the
I have
Taylor
nothing
Swift
against Taylor
fans
Swift.
and Christopher
I
Nolan
respect Taylor
fans.
Swift as an artist, as a person. I love Christopher Nolan as a director and as a filmmaker. But at the same time, I see a lot of film polls I like to take, I like to observe on like YouTube or Instagram, whatever it is. And you could have any Nolan film, usually it's Interstellar. This is the one that drives me crazy. And it's Interstellar going up against like The Godfather or like Citizen Kane. And by the end of this tournament, it's always like The Dark Knight versus Interstellar as the best films of all time tournament. It's the and listen, I don't love Interstellar personally, but you got people online saying you got the Nolan fans saying it's the greatest film ever produced.
I was probably that way when I was 16. And the
And
movie
well,
came
I
out.
feel like the age groups for like Nolan and for Taylor Swift are probably similar too.
I also feel like it's more of those like New York film studies kids. You know what I'm talking about? Those the real cinephiles, the real New York. Oh, the themes
No,
of like this and that when it's like a mockumentary. When it's like watching The Office and they're like this the theme of love was just in the wrong spot. Like those kinds of people.
Right. I think that going off the example of Interstellar, I love Interstellar. Um, but I think you'd be crazy to view Interstellar as um anything more than it is, because the resolution is really shoddy in terms of like love conquers all.
I think the whole
Um,
narrative is pretty shoddy.
I
I
mean,
think
it's
Interstellar
literally,
and Oppenheimer are two completely opposite movies.
and I agree. And you can't have any more whiplash from Christopher Nolan double than Tenet to Oppenheimer. Tenet is Nolan at his most Christopher Nolan esque,
Mm-hmm.
and Oppenheimer feels like a refined version, of his work, and kind of reeling himself back in to give us something that, I mean, is so grounded. Obviously, The Prestige is very sci-fi based, but I feel like The Prestige reminds me more of Oppenheimer than any of the Dark Knights, Inception, Interstellar, Dunkirk, even, honestly.
Well, it's a
Just feels
character study.
right, exactly. And I love how he wrote the screenplay in first person. Wild. Like, who does that?
Oh, I saw that TikTok clip where it was Matt Damon talking
Yeah.
and he said, look, he said, Nolan, he's like, I've read the script and the way he wrote it was instead of Killian getting up, instead of the script writing, like he got up to go to the window, either the script read, I got up and walked to the window. So it was all written from his perspective. And,
Yeah.
uh, and Matt Damon was like, it seeing that knowing that this whole project is going to be on Killian's back, it's really easy to help lift it.
Yes. 100%.
But it's also such a ballsy thing to do.
And it's only something that I feel like a director with his acclaim can do.
Yeah.
Who's going to give anybody $100 million to do a biopic of J. Robert Oppenheimer?
You can count it on one hand, probably.
Yeah.
I can't see. I mean, the only
Spielberg,
right. Scorsese,
I mean, again, yes, Scorsese,
Nolan,
Ridley Scott, although that would probably bomb. Nolan's an odd choice because this is the first time he's ever done anything like this, but
right
now, seeing what we saw, we can say Nolan.
Yep.
And
I also think this was a
Tarantino,
personal,
even though he would never do something like that.
Right. I think this was a personal thing too, and I think that this movie doesn't get made by Warner Brothers if
it does not.
Nolan didn't have his contract situation.
Well, it did not get made by Warner Brothers.
No, it did not get made by Warner Brothers.
Universal movie.
Right.
Universal.
No, I know. I'm saying that.
You're saying.
I think I misinterpreted what you said.
No, okay, I got it. Good. I was confused over it. You're saying that if he did get that contract from Warner Brothers, this movie wasn't going to happen.
Right. I think he said to Universal, "Listen, like,
all right. So this is what you were talking about. This is his big fuck you Warner Brothers movie."
And Warner Brothers tried to return the favor, and it ended up just propping both of their movies right back up. I mean, at the end of the day, Warner Brothers is not doing many good things. I'm a huge, so far, hate the vision that James Gunn has for the DCU. I think it's so bad. 1 foot in, 1 foot out of a reboot.
I'm gonna let y'all take this one.
I don't really have much to say about
Couldn't give a rat's ass.
I mean, I couldn't either. I want to. That's why I'm frustrated.
Yeah.
I don't. I kind of want it all to die.
I don't. So I want to go back to the Nolan movie talk, like just like the where you listed your. Where would you, out of 100, where would you put your Interstellar, Dylan?
I'd give it I'm going stars.
Would you put it in like a 5-star?
No. I'd give it a 4. I gave it a 4 out of 5 because I think that there is more in a movie. This might be a little bit controversial, but there's more in a movie than just if it makes complete sense. I think a lot of a movie is the feeling you get watching the movie.
It is a very emotional movie. I will give it that.
Right.
Even if you can pick the story apart.
You can totally pick the story apart, but the beats of the story, the beats of, certain scenes, obviously when Matthew McConaughey's character is looking at all the old clips of his kids growing up, like that is so emotional.
If you can make a movie where a scene in your movie is like you've said with the Willem Dafoe one, legendary status in meme.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What are some legendary?
No, but what I was gonna say, because Zach, you said you love controversy.
Any Leonardo DiCaprio, like
yeah.
Anything from Leo, really. I would like to see more Tom Hardy memes, but he hasn't really done anything.
Wow,
Venom
wow, you.
Yeah, that was 11 years ago.
Where?
I need more Tom Hardy. I need more. And luckily, Tom Hardy is doing a real movie that isn't in the Marvel, whatever you call it. He's doing the Bike Riders.
Interesting. Do you think that the only real competition so far that we've seen from movies that have already been released versus movies that are coming out by the end of the year, do you think the only real Oscars competition is, what is it, Killers of the Flower Moon?
No. Yeah. And Dune Part 2.
Oh, and Dune Part 2. I am one of
if it comes out, it may get they might all get fucking delayed. Who knows?
I want that to be delayed. I want Dune to be delayed because I don't want, as cool as it
You
would
don't worry about the Oscars. Who cares?
I mean, who does?
Yeah, right.
Who does? But at
I
the
want to see
same
them
time,
all win awards. I don't want to see Oppenheimer and Dune Part 2 duke it out over
I
one.
can't wait. I can't wait until Dune Part 2 gets 12 Oscar nominations and Denis Villeneuve gets snubbed for the Oscar nomination.
uh, I am of the record. Let me put this on the record that one of those movies that is one of the most underrated by the general public of all time. One of the coolest movies in terms of how it makes you feel, and the story is great. I'm going to give you 3 guesses. Go. Based on what we were just talking about.
Blonde.
No.
I hate you so much.
Me?
No, he just hates blonde.
That is Zach and I's.
He hates the fact that I like blonde, and
No,
he
that
can't
is
get
our
past that.
most opposite viewpoints of a movie.
Yeah,
Interesting.
when it's going
We're
to
fairly similar with what we like and how we view it. Blonde is just that fucking.
It's that movie.
It's that one, man, where I struggled watching it, and Zach was.
it's
all for
the
it.
only time I will ever give Netflix credit for doing something ballsy.
Yeah, most of Netflix's stuff anyway.
So I'm gonna
is
guess
just
it's
kinda
not
garbage.
blonde.
It's
I just
not.
really wanted to ruffle his khakis.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Is it
Recently you said it came out.
Norm of the North?
No, I'm
Fuck
just
off.
gonna say it. It's but Norm of the North. Come on, man.
Norm of the North 2.
Sorry,
No, it's
sorry.
Lyle Crocodile.
Paddington 2.
I mean, Paddington 2 is
Paddington 2 is a
awesome.
pretty close guess, all things considered.
Paddington 2 is awesome. Like,
Paddington 2 is great. We watched it
great.
right after watching a 10-minute analysis of Paddington 1.
We did.
I've
my
never
God.
seen the first Paddington.
Yeah, so Zach came over one night, and I don't remember what we were watching. Was it a Phillies game?
Flyers game.
Flyers game.
My condolences.
We
They lost.
just got hammered. And we were like, what are we gonna? We were like, let's watch something. It's like 2 a.m.
Were you guys crying on each other's shoulders by the end of it?
No, I think we both gave it a standing applause. I think we gave it a standing ovation.
Honestly, I was so fucked up. I don't remember half of it.
We sat
I
there.
just remember that Hugh Grant was really good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we were like, oh, Paddington 2. And I brought up a point. I was like, this might be in talks of sequel, like not just a movie, but like story following another story, like the sequel to a movie might be one of the best sequels.
I think
the
it's
hypocrisy though, considering we didn't watch the first one.
Oh, we didn't watch the first one, but also we watched like a 15-minute recap.
well, I've also not seen the first one.
Okay.
Is there even a Paddington 1? Can we confirm that?
There is. It's just called.
Has anyone seen it? All everyone does is talk about the second one.
I don't know. I haven't
second
seen
one's just that
Paddington
good.
one.
Biggest conspiracy theory in the cinematic history.
Well,
Okay.
Zach almost like he was screaming in applause when Brendan Gleeson popped up in Paddington 2.
I need to rewatch it. I think I watched it.
He was in
senior
prison.
year.
Remember, because Paddington goes.
Oh
he
yeah,
was
that's
the cook
right.
In prison.
Yeah,
That's right.
It was very jolly.
He's like a baker.
Yeah,
I do
he's
recall.
very
I do
opposite
recall.
of him and Banshees, but
Okay, so the movie, I haven't even seen Banshee yet, but I feel like I see Homelander already, and Anthony Starr would be the same in Banshee.
No. The Banshees of Inisherin.
Oh. Yeah, never seen that.
No, so good.
fucking Banshee.
Yeah, what is Banshee?
Banshee?
Anthony Starr's in something called Banshee.
It's I've seen. Yeah, it's apparently.
Oh, it's a TV show.
Yeah, and extremely graphic in many ways, more ways than one.
That's what we need.
I mean, hey,
look at that image of Anthony Starr. He still has the
that look.
Yeah, he still has that look where it looks like he just has nothing but tobacco in his lower lip.
Okay, that movie I was talking about, Blade Runner 2049.
Yep.
I thought it was Lyle Crocodile. My second guess.
Denny Villeneuve's most underrated.
I was gonna.
appreciated
That was
movie.
my second guess
Live
behind Blonde was
Blonde.
Blade Runner.
What did you say, Dom?
I said it is also in my 100 out of 100s.
It's
Mhm.
incredible. And here's another hot take. I don't love the first Blade Runner. I don't love it.
There.
I think it's overrated. And I think 2049 is underrated.
Yeah.
I think they're both underrated. And we can have a Blade Runner debate here after we have the Blonde debate 2.0.
I have Blade
Because
Runner
I think
92 out of 100.
I will go to war for the original Blade Runner.
I
And
now it's been like 5 years since I've seen it, and I feel like you see it through a different lens when you're a sophomore in college.
well, there are about 7 different cuts of the movie.
I
Did you see
don't
the
know which
final
one I
cut?
saw.
The final cut's the definitive version.
How about the Premiere Pro cut?
That sounds like an editing software.
It is Adobe Premiere Pro.
Oh,
Did you like that, Dom?
So I'll be editing this video on later.
Well, did you the final cut?
Yeah.
the
The final cut. The final cut.
Yeah,
Get it?
this cut will be the final cut of
Have you
this.
seen the iMovie cut?
Have you seen the Windows Movie Maker cut?
Yeah.
I used to use that all the time to make dumb videos and stuff like NASCAR stop motion videos when I was like 6.
You like a stop motion recreation of Dale Earnhardt's Crash? That's fucking wrong. That was before 9/11. When are we allowed to actually make jokes about stuff? I want to apologize for what I am. I'm a controversial figure.
My sister was born that year too.
Did she do it?
Do what?
You just setting me up for, just alley oops. Are you referring to Dale Earnhardt's Crash or 9/11? Did she? Wait, which one did she do?
Mr. President, there was a girl born.
I wonder at what point.
I that when people use the picture, I forget who was telling George Bush when he was reading books. When people use that picture as a meme now,
So good.
It is a interesting phenomenon where it's like I think you can make humor about anything. I feel like almost nothing is off limits. And I don't think that if you laugh at something, if that means you agree with the point that is raised in comedy.
Why don't you bring that up on the internet and see what people say?
So you don't believe I support 9/11, though I can joke about it.
I'm not
I'm
gonna
of that belief.
I'm just not gonna
Like,
I'm just not gonna say the first thing that just popped into my head.
I don't
Mr.
want you
Bush,
to.
there's been a 30-second plane. You need to stop reading these kids now.
I'm gonna say this
Oh my
controversial take because
Oh,
throwing it way back to when Zach said he loves controversy. I'm gonna
Throw
say
it back, baby.
I enjoy Tenet more than I enjoy Interstellar.
That's not a hot take at all.
I think
Is it a hot take
I
to say
think
that
Interstellar
I think
is
I
Nolan's worst
accidentally
movie. I don't think Nolan's made a bad movie, but I think Interstellar is probably his worst movie. In
so.
my very
Seen.
humble opinion.
I have not seen Insomnia or Following yet. Have you?
Yes.
And I plan to watch both of them, but like
Trying to remember Memento.
yeah. So Memento was like
No, I know it was the pictures. It was the pic, but it was
Guy Pearce movie.
yeah.
It's out of order. It's what
Yeah.
started his whole
It started his
Nolan's like orgasmic
timeline.
fascination with time.
with time, right? And
No, I get that.
that?
I'm trying to like the way my brain's working right now is I'm trying to like
Picture it.
Do
plot.
you have the disease that Guy Pearce had?
I might.
Sounds
So
like
I'm
it.
like quick scamming the whole movie through my head and then doing one with Interstellar and just being like, okay, I like this more than I like that. I like this more than I like that. This makes more sense than the way it was told, and this made more sense. Like I'm trying to then rate or rank my two to see where one would fall compared to the other.
Yes, this scene would be
Um,
better if Anne Hathaway wasn't talking about love, that stupid scene, and we need
yeah,
Matt
I
Damon to be
think.
rescued again.
However, Matt Damon, just surprise Matt Damon is just such a lovely trope that happened for a while there last decade. Um, but I also think that that whole it's the resolution of Interstellar that sours the entire experience for me, but it doesn't sour it to the point where I still don't really like the movie because there's so much more to it. Again, and this is why I was saying, like, it's the feeling it gives you. It's just this feeling of wonder, and the shots are incredible, and the music, Hans Zimmer is just absolutely on fire.
Mm-hmm.
The
Um,
music is, I think, what elevates it for everybody because
Absolutely.
it's like a top three, top five soundtrack ever made.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's. Oh, what? That's another good question. What are some of the best original scores in movies? Um, I think you got to give some of them all to John Williams,
John
Hans
Williams or Hans
Zimmer,
Zimmer.
and I think
And then there's everybody else.
I think Goranson is going to be. I mean, he already is.
Pretty young dude too.
Yeah.
He's gonna
Who
be
do you
around for a while.
do you think he is? He could take on what? Hmm. It's Hans Zimmer and him right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if
Um,
they're in the
other
movies,
ones,
if
I
they're
can't
doing the
really
movie
name any other
score,
ones.
I just say, all right, this is going to be on fire. Like this is going to
Banging.
be awesome.
Yeah. Okay, it's there. I have Memento as a 95 out of 100.
Okay.
Hmm.
Where
Too
I
much
Okay.
time. -5.
Yep. Where I have Interstellar as an 89. Where I have Tenet as an 82. But I have The Dark Knight. Oh fuck me. Did I put that? Where did I put The Dark Knight? This is where I think it is. Oh no. In this one.
Are you
98.
checking near the top?
98. So I have The Dark
What were
Knight.
those 2 points that took it away for you?
The 2 points.
What made you hate The Dark Knight so much?
Didn't say I hated it.
Oh, clearly you didn't love it.
He chose tails twice when it landed on heads.
-2 stars for the -2
It's
stars
not
in
not
Oppenheimer.
-2 stars. It's -2 very minuscule points. When you get from 95. So here's the way I do my letterbox score.
Okay.
I also do out of 100.
Mhm.
Every star is 10 points to match my out of 100 rating until you get to that fifth star, right? Because so no, I lied. Every star is 20 points.
Right. I was a little
10.
confused.
The half star is to 10 points. So
Right.
you'll have 4 stars, you'll have 80 points, and then you'll have 90 is the 4.5, and from 95 to 100 is that last half on that fifth star.
Okay. Okay. That's fair.
That's how I do my rate. So when you say, why do you hate The Dark Knight so much that made you drop all these points? The minuscule amount of points that I'm dropping are the equivalent to a freckle on the human body. It's so small. That's just the number I fell on. And you know what? It's okay. Fuck you.
And it's okay for me to enjoy Blonde while you don't.
Exactly.
Oh.
I know that. These movies are
But you can't
subjective.
accept that.
I can accept that. All I'm
You
saying
haven't.
I do. I have accepted the fact that you like this shit movie, but that's fine.
There it is.
Everyone
That tells
has a
me all I
movie.
need to know. little backhanded comment to prove
That
my
was a
point for
little
me.
bit backhanded right there.
It's fine.
Mm-mm.
I don't like it as
That
much
was not an objective
as
statement.
you
You
did.
you inject a little bit of subjectivity into this cancer patient right here.
I understand your takeaways from it and why you think it's shot this way and certain things. And I appreciate that. I took that into my head and I looked at it through my different eyes now. But at the
But
same
here's the difference. I
time,
didn't call it 100 out of 100.
I never called it.
I admitted it had flaws. I just don't think it justifies a 19 out of 100, which is still absurd to me.
So are you
But it's
saying
neither here nor
this is
there. We're
all
also
coming
not
back?
here to talk about Blonde, but we keep talking about Blonde every episode.
We do talk about Blonde every episode. I'm on every episode.
So are you trying to tell me Oppenheimer's not worthy of 100 out of 100?
I'm telling you at this point, I don't think it's
You don't think it's a
quite justifiable to put Oppenheimer above The Dark Knight in Nolan's filmography at this point. I think you need to wait for the longevity test. 10 years,
I
maybe you can revisit.
and I do appreciate that comment from Zach though about the longevity test because
But I can't give a rating to a movie of the overall movie based on if people will like it in 10 years.
right, but you can change, maybe refine your actual opinions on the movie down the line.
And if I think the movie's 100 out of 100 now,
Maybe.
if people don't like it in 20 years, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, people don't like it. Something clearly must be wrong with it. No, it's probably just it's a hard to follow back and forth biopic about the atomic bomb. That's a 3-hour burn fest, and the most climactic part of the movie to the regular sheep out in the world is about 2.5 hours into it.
I'd say even less than 2.5.
Yeah, and then you have a whole hour afterwards for a political drama in black and white, and then it cuts back, and the timeline's so jumpy that a regular person who just wants to watch a Christopher Nolan movie, probably, or just wants to watch this movie, probably won't understand.
So I was a little bit lost the first time I saw it, and actually I want to ask you guys a question about your experience in 70mm. But before I do,
I'll tell you my experience, but you go first.
Before you do hear this,
George Chin.
so true. So I walked in. I was also at an 11:10 p.m. showing at KOP of the 70mm version the Monday after it came out. I was home for that week, so just kind of worked out perfectly because we had a race at Pocono the weekend before. So I got in my chair, got it. I was excited. I couldn't get anybody really. I should have asked you guys, but there was only one seat. Didn't really ask many people to go to an 11 o'clock showing of a 3-hour movie in King of Prussia. But movie starts, of course, there's no trailers. And it starts in silence. And then a minute goes by.
Not me.
And then a minute goes by. And Oppenheimer is literally starting to speak. And we realize the projectionist failed to turn the audio on. So the first 2 minutes where it's kind of showing like literally the first 2 minutes where it's explaining like, one, fission, two, fusion. It's like they're talking about they're setting up the different timelines. I was lost for the remainder. Well, for a large majority of the film, just about like where these things, what the setup was, the very quick, all right, when's this, when's that, what is this about? And I'll have to in a very difficult to show on here manner, the video I took of the experience.
You about to actively engage in piracy?
Oh, we're in space. Hold on.
Yeah. All I see is Interstellar.
Hold on.
I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get this hard evidence of Dylan's piracy here. Is that a candle?
No. Someone yells, "It's Iron Man."
I saw a gigantic candle in that theater.
No, so yeah, no, I didn't hear that, but
I don't know what that was.
Well, everybody was like, "What is going on?" Like someone ran out of the theater to run to the projectionist, and they didn't obviously rewind the film, so we missed the first 2 minutes of dialogue. And I was like,
Was it a Barbie fan killing the projectionist?
Probably.
Could it have been?
Now, here's the
How many
one thing
people?
I also realize in this movie. It starts off with, and it shows you one fission. Does not do it for fusion. You kind of just have to pick up on it.
"Wait, so explain that. Word that out."
On the screen,
Yes.
it says one
Did
fission.
it not say fusion?
It does not say
No way.
it doesn't. You kind of just have to know what comes after fission. There is no fusion on the
I
screen.
didn't.
There's not like a text thing that pops up and says fusion. It's just not there.
It's
But I
just
think
two.
it's not there for a reason. And I'm not
Paid
sure what
attention
that
in
reason is.
chemistry class. Maybe
You
you
just
get
have
it.
to
I didn't.
know. Because I mean, I never took chemistry, but I know fission and then fusion.
Chemistry was my worst subject in high school.
Yeah.
Was my worst, but I've done a lot of like reading into this, like
Yeah.
like fission
Just-
is
But it
the
doesn't
splitting.
show. Yeah. So, but it doesn't not once show two fusion or
You know,
anything like that.
the hydrogen bombs, like when they were actually created, it was actually a two bomb thing. So because it had such a much higher yield, because fusion is the joining of two hydrogen, or I think it was two hydrogen atoms or something to create hydrogen. And I forget that specifically, but it was a fission bomb that goes off to heat up everything that starts the fusion process. So it's literally a hydrogen bomb is an atomic bomb inside of it with the hydrogen element to heat it up enough to make the energy from that go crazy. So they needed to develop the atomic bomb with fission to be able to do the hydrogen bomb with fusion.
That's why they need to drop two bombs on two cities.
Now, I do love how the movie goes into the morality.
Explanation on why they needed to drop the two bombs was something I respected too.
It was definitely
This is what a show of four. It was a show that we have this weapon, and it was a show that we can do it again if we wanted to. We can keep doing it. I was like, that's well written.
This
loved
movie was so well written.
Oh,
there's little moments. There's
other than those
like,
stars on that flag. God damn it!
Listen, I don't think that was a writing issue. I think that was just a prop issue. However,
yeah, but I just think 100 out of 100, a flawless movie.
Fucking suck my dick, Zach.
You'd like that, wouldn't you?
No.
Well, I mean, you offered.
Listen, what I'm saying is this movie with it answers the questions in dialogue form that we have.
Thank you for putting the form on me.
Movies don't often do that, especially with real life events. Like, why did we have to drop drop an atomic bomb twice?
What were you about to say?
World. Drop the world. Yeah, on your
drop the world. Trade.
No.
Well, part of it was when
Inside Job.
No, but what I was gonna say was this movie does that when you ask that question, and the first time you see anything about Pearl Harbor and our retaliation, the first thing is like, why two cities? Like, just why? Like, it doesn't tell you why. This movie actually tells you why. They have that conversation, and it's not just I think we should
not Kyoto though.
No, not Kyoto.
It's a wonderful vacation spot.
Lovely honeymoon spot.
Was that a moment in the theater?
Oh, I had people laugh.
That's that's true though.
Yeah.
He actually honeymooned there.
He did. But what I was saying was these conversations that just seem so natural throughout the film that like you're like it answers those questions. And I think it's such a creative way and it's such a smart way of writing where it's like you have to think every question you can possibly ask about this topic, you have to kind of answer before the audience has a chance to actually ask the question.
Yeah. Another thing that kind of ties into that was, that scene when there's that meeting after Germany had surrendered, after Hitler offed himself. And they're kind of like, that secret meeting that they're all rallying support, saying that we shouldn't drop this bomb. It isn't humane. And then Oppenheimer comes in there, and I forget the actual words he used, but he was like, saying they need to understand the power that's in these bombs to know not to
Yes.
use them, and
He
they won't
said-
understand
said
until
we're
they use them.
Yeah, he said we're theorists, and they said yes, and he said they won't understand until they see it, and they still won't understand until they've used it.
Yes. I think there was a
Or they won't see it until they believe it. They won't believe it until they see it. Something like that. And then
it was like a
believe it until they've used it, or
Right.
however that. See it,
And-
believe it, use it. Yeah.
and it almost gives you that, well, he's got a point kind of thing, and also the I don't know if we can be trusted, but I do know that the Nazis can't be trusted. Just like it brings up these moral issues, and it kind of lets you think about the differences in opinion. And then surprise Gary Oldman.
You, you little bitch.
Gary Oldman is the penultimate American.
Don't let that crab baby back in.
Don't let that pussy old sound back in here. It's America. We use guns and we use bombs.
Yeah, I feel like I have blood on my
I-
hands. He's like, I fucking care. He's like, yeah.
No, I like the third excuse to use the bomb, which is, well, we already made it. Like, can we just use it, please? Like, pretty
Well-
please, can we use the bomb?
The whole like handkerchief thing was like, here, wipe them off. At the end of the day, you created it. I was the one who decided to drop it. It falls on me. Which is, again, kind of valid, but I also like it's such a gray area. Everything in this movie is not explained in black and white, except for the scenes that are actually explained in black and white. Like, because it's so subjective, and it kind of offers these, moral quandaries, as was said. No moral quandaries in 1945. Now moral quandaries in 1949.
Zach, those might be the two biggest.
Well, that's the ripple effect themes.
Those
from the
might
first
be
shot of the movie.
those might be the biggest, smartest words together that we've had on this show probably since we started. Moral quandary.
Moral quandaries.
Yeah, I don't think we've
I
said
was gonna say
anything
moral
close.
conundrum.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever said anything close to that. I think I thought we would have said like
No, I don't know words that big.
we would have said like brain thoughts.
I would have said fucking
Moral quandary. We would have a thinking time. Like we.
Well, do you remember
Brain
nearing the end where Oppenheimer is the one like fully getting grilled by Robbie Rob?
Roger.
Robbie Roger.
Roger
That's
Rob.
right.
Roger Rabbit, we call him.
Roger Rob.
Who is Jason Clarke, who does a great job. Every actor in this movie gave their all, and I see no faults with
Well,
anyone.
what do you expect? You have 20 actors and actresses in here that any director would be happy to have them leading their film, and some of them are in here
Josh
for 30
Peck?
seconds. Josh Peck.
Danny DeHaan?
Oh, we already went through our Josh Peck thing. Ad nauseum.
Where was Drake Bell?
Where was Megan? Where was Crazy Steve? Where was Crazy Steve during the bomb dropping of
Josh
Hiroshima?
Josh
He was
Peck
on the bomb.
dropped the bomb. He pressed the button. Where's the hug me brother? Where's Drake Bell? Where's the bomb turning off because Megan disconnects the power cord out of the treehouse?
Wasn't the button? Did he actually press the button, or was that the abort button?
No, I'm pretty
That's
sure
why
that
his
was
hand
button.
was
Pretty sure that
hovering.
was the button.
No, that was a detonate button.
I thought it was the abort.
Conspiracy theory.
I don't remember him
You-
pressing the button
You're gonna ruin this. You don't actually see anybody press the button, but his hand is over the button.
Right, but it's because Oppenheimer is saying if this goes to 0 volts at any time in the final seconds of the countdown, abort. Like, I feel like that's what that button was.
See, now I feel like Dylan's just
so,
a marketing exec for
I don't think
Nolan.
so.
He's hopping on podcast to podcast, bringing up these points. Like, okay, well, we got to see it one more time and confirm.
I need to see it a third time. One of my coworkers
There's no way
already.
because they don't show you any other button to drop the bomb.
Well, maybe. Hold on, I'm looking it up
The
now.
big red button is usually the button. Like, don't press the big red button because something's gonna blow up.
And every
I would
time
imagine the abort
Mr.
button is
President-
probably green.
when they say Mr. President dropped the nuke, the thing comes out of the console and it opens up and it's just a glass box. He opens it, it's just a big red button and he hammers it.
And then we go steal oil from the Middle East. Hmm.
I gotta watch it again.
It's inconclusive because it doesn't tell you. I'm pretty sure that's the button and Josh Peck drops the bomb. Why would they tease that shot so many times? Why would that be in every trailer? Why would that be in every commercial? Why would that be such a focal point with the countdown right next to it?
Maybe it's a metaphor for abortion. It being an abort button, like you said.
Okay, so because Zach brought that up, one of the things I really enjoy most about this movie, and specifically the way Christopher Nolan does it, is he teeters his way around political conflict without inserting his own biasisms or his own biases into his movie. Because there are so many movies that are just politically biased in certain ways, and you can definitely
and you can do that so easily.
But you can easily fucking fall hard right with this movie and be like, yeah, fuck the communist, but then not. But he doesn't do that. He kind of explains in black and white the objective part. This is what communism is in America. Is
it easier?
This is what it's not going to be, and it doesn't make you think he's one way or the other. He just teeters that line right across the middle where he's like, this is this, and this is this, and this is a bomb.
Is this easier? And I think this is a very generalizing thing, and I don't like generalizations at all. But is it easier for Christopher Nolan, being a British director, to not have a dog in the fight?
Yes.
Because we have our opinions.
1,000%.
Holy shit. Can you imagine if Michael Vick directed this?
What's that supposed to mean?
I don't know, but take that for what you will. No, but the real question I wanted to ask was, Dylan, are you pro-choice or pro
I mean, pro-choice for sure.
Are you pro-choice or pro murder, whatever the other one is?
Life. It's pro-life.
Yeah, fuck it. I don't care. I don't have a dog in the fight, like you said.
Oh, that's the Vic reference.
Yeah.
I don't have a dog in the fight.
Yeah. I don't have a dog in a fight, but you can't take the fight out the dog.
Wolf.
Ooh, bars.
That's how you use a segue to bring yourself not. I just used a segue to circle back into the rabbit hole that we're trying to segue out of. So we essentially just went nowhere.
Right, that's what happens in this show.
Yeah, welcome to the fucking podcast. Welcome to one of the deep rabbit holes that you just cannot get out of.
Jack, do you have any topics, like any notes of yours that we haven't hit? I know you had a whole.
Yes, every single one of them.
Let's do it. Let's hit them.
It's been about 5+ hours. I haven't actually tackled any of the things I have written down.
Let's fucking get through them.
All right. The Meg 2 terrible review. That's not right.
I just see those like trailers and TV spots, and I'm like,
no, I was talking about. You said, did you have Oppenheimer notes that you didn't talk about?
I do. They're below the notes that came up with for this week.
Okay.
Which is the Meg 2 is not being well received.
All right.
Fucking Fucking shocker. No need to be a theoretical physicist to find
This
that
is
out.
this is why I said yesterday when we were playing. If you listen to our last full episode with the whole group, Minecraft Realms has been taking over our lives once again.
Wait, the Meg 2's budget is $185 million.
That was $120 million.
130 million was the original one. Oppenheimer cost 100 million. Like,
Yeah.
We just talked about absurdity.
Yeah, you
Secret
see
Invasion.
$129 million here. We're getting conflicting. No one knows what the true budget of the
Wikipedia
movie is.
says 129 million.
Zach, we just talked about absurdity in
It's
film
money
budgets,
laundering.
in film budgets, but it was something.
Well,
There was one of them that was the movie was so fucking bad, but it had over like $200 million in the budget. We were like, what the
Flash.
Fuck? No, that movie actually wasn't terrible.
I hate the Flash.
trouble.
I hated the Flash.
Yeah, we can have a whole. We'll have you back, and we'll just talk about really, really bad Marvel or DC movies that have come out
No,
recently.
I'm down
We could
for
talk
it.
for fucking 20 hours.
We could just
Really can.
we could just show every movie.
There's been two good ones, right? There's been the Spider-Man animated movie. I don't remember
Both
what
of
it's
them.
called.
Both of them.
Well, I
of
mean,
them.
well, the one that came out this year.
Across.
Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, that and Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Which was awesome.
Everything else has been utter garbage.
No, the first Guardians.
Well, I think we're talking about this year's.
No, we're talking about recent, like this year.
Like recent Marvel and DC related movies.
Yes.
Well, actually, Blade 1 was pretty good in 1998, whenever that came out.
I think that was when it came out.
I
think it might have been Blade 2. Blade 2 is one of my favorite vampire movies. Before Marvel was Marvel.
Before Blade Trinity with Ryan Reynolds.
Don't remind me. Don't ever remind me. That's
I feel
absurd.
like I'm very worried to see.
That was very Ryan Reynolds-esque of you.
What?
Don't remind me. Don't ever remind me.
Yeah.
I'm very nervous to
Was
see
it?
what
Wasn't
upcoming
intentional.
Marvel and DC. Most superhero movies coming up, I am not looking forward to.
Dare I say none?
Oh, I mean, you
I'm
have
not looking
hopes.
forward to anything coming out, but I'm going to watch them.
Exactly.
Yeah, tell me
like,
you're watching like Secret Invasion.
I already finished it.
Fuck
horrible,
you.
horrible, pathetic.
My takeaway
Garbage.
is on the last on that, and Chris and I were talking about it as we were coming home from Oppenheimer. The concept of the whole show is cool. It's interesting.
Yeah, but
the final fight scene, that last fight scene with Gravik, fucking took 5 minutes. That
stop.
fight scene was so short. That fight scene was.
Speaking of short, I
short.
can't make my arms any shorter.
But here's the also.
Did you see your little tiny little arm on that last fight?
And I get that. But here's the thing: when you think about putting all the DNA of these guys together, that's cool. Like that's interesting. Figure it out more to where it's just you're only using a Hulk arm, a Drax arm, and sometimes you're turning into Captain Marvel.
I have that. It's called Power Rangers.
Yes.
My whole thing about Marvel recently, and there have been ones I've really enjoyed, ones I've loved, whether it's for nostalgia reasons like No Way Home, and I think it was a decent story with really good acting, or, Multiverse of Madness because I love the characters involved. At the end of the day, the only production that I have legitimately loved because it tried something different and it stuck the landing so well lately, Loki. I mean, that last and Christopher Nolan hit Oppenheimer goes to show you can just have 3 hours of conversations and make it so intense and action filled. And I thought Loki did that too with the ending of season 1. You don't need a big CGI fight to raise the stakes or make things interesting. I'm going to bring up one of my favorite movies ever. One of my favorite superhero movies ever.
Batman and Robin meet Scooby-Doo. Oh.
Son of Electric.
Is that an actual thing?
Yeah, it was an actual episode in
Yes,
like
it's a movie.
60s and
No.
70s. I'm talking about the show, the episode. No, not the movie. The show.
Okay. What
Is it
what does
WWE? Oh.
what does Syndrome say in The Incredibles? When everyone's super, no one will be. When
Yeah.
every ending of each movie in Marvel has a CGI fight, nothing is special. Who cares? They're all the same. Do something different. Be better.
So the big question: do you believe that the Secret Invasion is just a giant allegory for immigration? What are your takes on it?
If
There was one Marvel project that didn't end in a big fight.
let me guess it. What do
One?
you think? Is it movie? They're movies, right?
There's a Marvel property.
You said
A
property.
Marvel Cinematic Universe, an MCU.
Okay. Okay.
Under the Kevin Feige umbrella.
Okay.
That does not end in the finale, in the final whatever show, movie, that final end.
The
content ending does not end in a fight.
No dead air here.
I'm trying to think. What phase?
No, for fuck's sake.
Come on, you can't.
Fuck is a phase?
There's 4 phases.
How about we phase it all out? How about that? Fucking bullshit.
I'll give you 15 seconds.
What phase?
115 seconds.
No. It's in this phase.
You now
It's
have
in-
5 seconds.
Phase 5?
Yeah.
How many fucking phases are there?
5?
Should have stopped after like
The
1.
first half, the second half, Endgame was the third half, and then there's the new shit. No, Endgame,
Yeah.
phase 4.
What one was it? What one was it?
She-Hulk.
Okay, I asked if it was a movie.
I didn't say that. I said.
Yeah, I thought you did.
I said it was an MCU property.
Yeah, well, I have my feelings on She-Hulk. I was disappointed with it, even though it was apparently brought to life, the comics of it. I just felt like, all right, none of it matters in the grand scheme of things. What is happening?
None of it matters.
Zach hates.
Who
Zach
cares?
despises Marvel. He despises
I don't
it.
despise Marvel. I
He
despise.
despises it.
There,
Yeah.
What
there are
mask-
Marvel things
what
that I
mask
like.
do you
I
have
hate
to
what
your
they've
right?
become. Huh?
What mask do you have to your right? A superhero mask? Of who? Batman?
Yeah. Not a
Yeah.
Marvel guy.
I know.
I don't think. I like Batman. I don't like
So does everybody.
You like Daredevil? Oh, I'm sorry, Deadpool.
There are some really
I enjoy
cool.
Deadpool. I despise the CGI in Deadpool.
Yeah,
And
it's
that
really bad
stupid
CGI.
fucking gas station explosion scene in the second Deadpool.
Oh, that's the worst.
criminally bad
that might
CGI.
that might be the worst CGI.
So what's the budget for that fucking movie? I mean, I understand that they like
Deadpool 2?
abuse their special effects artists and give them no time for anything, but
The Deadpool 2 budget was 110 million.
yeah, and the Meg 2, what I'm looking at here, it says 129 million. I bet
So-
we could make better CGI.
So what I'm hearing is that the key to fixing all of these issues,
Screen Rant has the Meg 2 at 158 million.
I'm not gonna. I'm
Nope.
not.
I lied. Screen
Is it
Rant.
only going up? Are they giving this movie more money post production?
Screen Rant. The production budget for the Meg 2, the Trench, is an estimated 185 million. The budget for the 2018's original Meg was 130, which is equivalent to roughly 158 million today, adjusting for inflation. So yeah, about 185 million dollars.
So that would be $185 million after you take away the payment of the screenwriters.
Yes.
Probably $186 million. They probably took money from them.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
They have to buy it from
actually, the Meg 2 is probably what you get when you don't have any screenwriters because they're all on strike.
Yes.
Here's a question.
Here's an answer.
If Oppenheimer was still produced by Warner Bros., knowing that Christopher Nolan is the screenwriter, would he have been paid poverty line value for his work on Oppenheimer?
No, because I don't think it
Do you
I
think?
don't think it is about him and his
It's not about the
tier
money.
of
Well,
writing.
obviously, he's being paid as a
It's about the
director.
Mets. It's about the Mets, baby. It's about the Mets.
Yeah.
No, not this here. It ain't.
It's about the Phillies.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
yeah, that's Trey Turner.
Right. Then it's going to settle down a little bit.
it's not about the money, Spider-Man.
Well,
all
it's
about the
about
Mets.
$300 million over 10 years for a shortstop who can't make a play, can't hit a ball.
It is
Still
hard.
sickened by that.
It
It's
is
the Phil.
hard
It's
for
the,
me.
I'm drawing it down to the first year curse. Everybody who comes here sucks their first year. I'm sure he'll be an MVP candidate next year.
I did. We could go on talking. We need a different podcast
Whatever.
episode to talk Philly sports and the
We have one,
problems.
but nobody likes to talk Philly sports.
Yeah,
So
there's too
we
many.
talk about Zach liking things shoved up his butthole.
That's a bit general. I thought you weren't a generalist.
Not.
So you didn't like generalizing things. There has to be context about me shoving shit up my butthole, and it being comedy oriented and having context. See, you just saying I like shit shoved up my butthole just makes me sound gay, which is fine. But it needs to be used in a comedic sense. There needs to be a punchline to it. So if we lead up to it with a joke, a long running joke, that culminates in something getting a comedic reaction out of people, then sure, you can say I love having shit shoved up my butthole. Until that day comes. This is why the writers are on strike.
Shut up, Zach.
You just generalized. It was a poorly written script on your part. If it was better written and if you were better paid, maybe you would have done better.
If I was getting paid to do this, I would.
If you're getting paid more, maybe that joke would have landed more.
If I was getting paid to do this, maybe I would have cared a little bit more. You're right.
And now the limited audience that we do have may or may not be pushed away by the fact that maybe I may or may not like shit shoved up my butthole.
All right.
All right, where are we at anyway?
You're gay.
Hard pivot here.
Oh my!
No, that's what you said.
Oh, did you just look at the updated budget for the Meg 2? Is it at like $230 million now?
It's actually 231 million. They just inflation over the last second.
No, they must have just like drained the bank accounts from their writers.
Oh, so one of the guys that I'm friends with from college. He's a friend of my college friend. We have a group chat, and
he's a friend of your college friend.
Yeah. So now he's my friend. It's just how it all worked out. Anyway, we're all soccer fans.
Ooh,
So he just told me he was going to see. He told me he was going to see Oppenheimer tonight, and he just mentioned me in the chat. Let's see what he said about it.
Is it a meme?
What kind of movie? Well, before you tell us this, what kind of movies does he typically watch?
We can't hear that thing.
What?
We cannot hear what you played.
I didn't play anything.
I think he just read something.
I did.
Okay.
Words
Attention
made me laugh.
span. Come on now.
I'm
wasted and I can get that.
Like just before he walked in, he said, "How loud is this explosion? We're sitting second row. Am I going to crap myself?"
No.
And
did he?
Well, I said,
Should have.
No, he's in right now.
I didn't respond for an hour, and then said, "He's already dead, guys." He just responded, "Holy mother!" Yeah, a lot of explicit terms I don't feel comfortable saying on camera.
I mean, I think you could probably get away with most of them on here.
I probably on here. Yeah, sure.
Blur your face real quick.
Yeah, then you can say
Just
whatever you
get
want.
real blurry.
Voice changer.
Yeah.
Yeah, do that thing with the
Voice
background.
changer and
See that to your
everything.
face.
Yeah.
Hit us with the Edward Snowden.
Just duck off camera.
Yeah, then it's just the
I
world
mean,
saying, which is true.
he's amazed.
You mouth the word and Zach will say it.
Yeah, and I'm not even gonna blur my face because I welcome adversity. I love it.
Holy
Turns me on.
mother of bro.
So is he texting during the movie?
No, it just
So we
ended.
finished it.
Yeah.
Good.
I sat next to somebody at the 70mm showing that was on his phone sometimes at the fullest brightness, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And he was coughing like 5 times a minute. Like, dude, get the hell out of here.
What app was he on? Was he on TikTok?
No, he wasn't on TikTok. But God, what a movie! Just what a movie, guys.
All right.
Seriously.
My experience. The guy next to me fell asleep.
Well, I think at that point you're allowed to shank them.
Chris fell asleep.
When you
Shank
say
him.
Chris or
Brandon.
Chris,
He fell asleep.
that doesn't.
Just
Does
he
that
fell asleep
surprise
just
you?
To the start, just
No,
at
it's
the start of the
it's the
third
Chris
act.
that you're thinking of.
Yeah, it's the Chris that you're thinking of.
Okay.
From the start of the third act to
Probably the one that slashed you at his pond.
No,
The-
he didn't slash. Okay.
Well, at least we know who it is now.
is Matt the Hout.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Anyway, so Chris fell asleep from the third act. He slept through Rami Malek's scene at the court.
Oh
And
man.
then he woke up as Kitty was giving her testimony or her
So can we give a little bit of an applause for Emily Blunt, because
Yep, that was her
she
scene.
had a really tough role to
play drunk.
to fulfill.
I've been playing that
I mean,
this whole time.
Oh, I would love that role. I wouldn't even have to act.
I'm
well,
doing it right now.
I hope you're not going to put that whole thing down.
oh, I thought he was.
No, you got a volume. No, you got a volume drink. Power drinking on a podcast leads to cancellation. You know that.
It does it?
It does.
Oh, it does.
Yes, you have to. If you're drinking, you got to have a nice glass, and you just got to sip that through the whole time.
Or you
Have
have to have been prestiged at drinking like I am.
Have you guys ever seen the YouTube group, like the friend group from Philly, Razzle?
No.
Yes, I have.
They get
They
drunk
get drunk
together.
and they watch really shitty movies.
I would
Yeah.
love to do
I
that.
recently watched them watch what was it?
Lyle Crocodile.
That was the recent one, yeah, but it was
Was it
yes.
really? Is that
Yeah.
That's why I mentioned it.
I'm still thinking this transformative film that you watched recently was Lyle Crocodile and not Blade Runner 2049.
I mean,
Now I gotta watch Mr. Lyle on the big
I didn't even know that was a movie until I saw the Razzle commentary.
Also, I have an experience that happened in my.
I didn't know they were from Philadelphia.
That is criminal and
Yeah.
deserves the death penalty.
Oh boy, what
Wait,
happened?
what was Chris's excuse for falling asleep? Was it not enough
Yeah,
boobies?
I want to hear that.
I didn't say anything to him because he woke up and watched like the last 40 minutes of it, but he fell asleep for like a good 20 minutes.
I feel like he watches a movie like my brother watches movies. Like not enough fart jokes or explosions or boobies.
No, but he was completely into it, and then we had a huge discussion after.
What you went to an 11 p.m. showing,
he
right?
didn't miss anything, even though I looked at him at least 3 times and he was like asleep. But he didn't miss anything.
On the way back?
He was
No, because he
feeling.
didn't miss
he was-
anything. It was
Listen, he heard the music. He heard the music. It's okay.
But so I want to get to something that Chris and I talked about in the car on the way back, but I also want to tell you there was an experience that we both had that we saw at the theater during the movie, which is viable for the death penalty.
I'm ready to hear it. Judge presiding. We start now.
3 seats
Drop
to the
the
left.
bomb in your car.
3 seats to the left of Chris. We're in the front row.
Yes. Second. Oh yeah, you're in the front row.
Front row. This lady gets up. She gets up.
She just stands there.
Nope. She got up to use the bathroom during the 10-second countdown. She missed the entire Trinity scene.
Oh, well, we already went over this. We already went over why she did that.
And I did not know. So I listened. So I'll explain to what Zach just said. I listened to this to Lights Camera Barstool's movie podcast. This situation happened to their host Jeff. Guy got up during the countdown with like 4 seconds left.
Okay.
My showing, the guy got up just as the countdown started, 10 seconds left of it, and because it was the 2 minutes and then it was the full 10 seconds. This lady got up the 10 seconds and then came back and they were doing their deposition. She missed the bomb drop. She missed the farmhouse with the group of people, and then it went right into why he can't get a security clearance. And she came back and had the fucking audacity to look into her boyfriend and said, "What did I miss?"
Well, I know why she went out.
Does it have to do?
This isn't me saying. This isn't me saying like, oh, she went out to meet me in the bathroom or something.
I was gonna
No,
say,
she was
Like,
too-
what is your?
does it
What
have
is
to
your?
show like?
No,
Remember, we're
she was
talking about
two.
the.
Go on.
We're talking about the feeling you get from watching a movie, and if you don't feel the tension,
My nutsack was in my throat.
yeah, if you don't feel the tension from that scene, and you say, oh, "Okay, Josh Peck, okay, bye, I'm going to the bathroom." Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Was she watching an episode of Drake and? Did she think this was an episode of Drake and Josh? What?
Nobody's here to make an offhand remark of the comment I just said.
No, because I just made about 1,000 in my head. But your own nutsack being in your throat and what that entails. How many ribs you have to get removed to do that?
Because if Zach makes a comment like that, the first thing out of Dean or Ryan's mouth, it's just.
I mean, come on, dog. You guys abuse the shit out of me on the podcast, and I take it. But I mean, come on. You make a fucking
set it on the fucking tee for
you make an illusion about your nutsack being in your mouth. I gotta do something, even if it's just that. I'll take it. But I'll be the bigger man. But I will, and I think we mentioned this on the last episode, that I think that woman that actually stepped out needs to be applauded for being too immersed in the film.
No, so that was the first one. That was the one from the Barstool guys' performance. This one happened after we recorded. This happened. This happened this Monday night. This week we're in
the 70mm one.
I went. This lady got up and missed the entire Trinity scene.
It's 70mm. You're never gonna get a chance like that again.
Front row came back and asked her boyfriend, "What did I miss?"
Because she was too immersed in the film. She was terrified that she was actually going to get blown up, so she had to leave the theater.
I don't think it's irrational to say that if I was her boyfriend in that instance, I'd say, you missed the rest of our relationship. We're broken. We're breaking up.
You know what? There's plenty of fish in the sea.
Oh, I thought
I'm gonna go catch one.
Just turn around and clock her.
I'm gonna go catch one with
what did I
higher
miss?
bowel tolerance than you.
We're in fucking.
What did I miss? What did I miss?
Oh, she came in and said that. I would straight up cold cock her.
She did. She sat down. She's like 3 seats next to Chris, and the movie fucking was quiet. And she said,
"No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't."
She looked at her boyfriend. She said, "What?" She goes, "What happened?"
How can you be so daft?
What a punk.
And like I looked at Chris. I said, "What?" I said, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And he was like, "Some people just can't. They just can't deal with it." And then 20 minutes later,
and you looked over at Chris, and he was like this.
No, he was.
Or did he wake up by this point?
Chris was sitting there, and I looked over, and he was just like this. Like slightly tilted, his eyes were closed, but then like you could see him like fading in and out of being awake,
right?
Until like Kitty's deposition scene, and then he was wide awake.
Mm-hmm. I don't quite like your phrase. Was it just me, or could you hear Emily Blunt's accent come out a little bit throughout?
I was too immersed to even notice. But if I do watch it again, and notice that, then I think, Dom, you are relegated to take a few points off for more errors in the film.
But I don't think it happened.
I feel like there were just a
I was
couple
right there. I
scenes.
sat right there, but I don't think
But
her accent was coming out.
I feel like
I think
there's
the film's best example of how good the editing was
Oh,
that scene right there.
okay,
The
when he
snapping back and forth between Jason Clarke and Emily Blunt's face between
that was
that exchange
awesome.
was excellent.
There's so much you can tell in a story in a movie by the editing and the shots that you use. It like
Mm-hmm.
I think this is where you really see the difference between just a simple, medium shot of this person, medium shot of this person, just keep cutting back and forth. Like it was so much more than that. It was
they
like,
had he had a lot of quick edits to quick reaction shots that went
yeah,
right back to who was talking.
yeah, and some
Like,
of it was pushed in, some of it was fisheyed. Like it was so good at conveying so much emotion and really the intensity, and obviously the score is playing a part in there. The actual there's a lot of movies that you just watch and there's like intense dialogue, but it's just so dumb. Like the dialogue's so dumb, it doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel like there's actual stakes in what they're saying. There were stakes in every single word out of each of their mouths. Like it really flowed like I'd
Mm-hmm.
expect, something like that to flow.
And that's the thing about good editing accentuates good visual storytelling, I
Yeah.
feel like. And I'm so excited to see how they do that in the Meg 2 and how well that's going to be edited clearly
This
from the
guy,
commercials that I've seen.
this guy. I mean,
I'm a sucker for visual storytelling. I love
and
being told a story through no
there's
dialogue.
no
And I can't
bigger
wait to see
story,
that when a Meg like deep throats a boat.
no bigger story than a megalodon.
Actually, from what I've heard, it's you get the first 3/4 of the Meg 2 is just like an eco war. You don't even get like the big monster shit that you're going in for. So I don't know where the budget's going to.
It's
and I'll
like
be
Very
honest,
excited to see it in 2 years when I fucking see it on
70 millimeter IMAX.
see if that's even a thing in 2 years.
did you see that Dune 2, if it does come out in November, has exclusive IMAX rights for like 4 to 6 weeks or something like that?
Well, that's what Oppenheimer had. That was one of
Yes.
the
Well,
deals Nolan had with the studio.
Oppenheimer's final day in a 70 millimeter IMAX theater is August 17th.
wow. Wow.
And I mean, if you couldn't pick two better films to preserve IMAX seatings than Dune 2 or Oppenheimer. Any
Uh,
Nolan picture, any Villeneuve picture for that matter.
Zach, did you see
Um,
it in 70
Oh,
millimeter?
yeah. I wasn't like front row. Like I didn't get my face blown off by Cillian Murphy's nutsack, but
what was
it
your
was
experience? Sorry, Zach, I cut you off, totally cut you
oh,
off.
it's nice. I get off when people apologize to me. Do
I'm
it
very
again.
sorry.
You sneezed
Mm,
yesterday, and I said bless you, and you told me to go fuck myself.
I know. I know.
And I said,
That's no, that's yeah, that's from
you
bless
said,
you because
and
I
you said
fucking
we
hate
don't,
when people say bless you because God doesn't give a shit if I sneeze.
and you said,
God doesn't give a fuck if you sneeze. He doesn't care if we
I
sneeze.
said bless you, and you said we don't fucking do that here. Go tell me to kill myself or something. And I was like,
Yeah, I also
what
have a
are
kink
you
shame.
talking about?
I have a kink shame.
That just stunned Dylan. He has
No,
nothing
don't.
to
No,
say.
no, no. The first thought that came to your head, Dylan. That's what we need here. That's the content we're
So you
looking.
really enjoyed playing mini hockey and getting, everyone
Yeah,
just
I absolutely love getting no goal support. Turn me on. It's awesome.
sound like Aaron Nola.
Was he a big
I
assist
don't give up. I don't give up 3 home runs every outing.
That's true. Was he a big what?
assist guy in mini hockey?
No, he was the goalie for a lot of it. He was really solid in goal, but
Yeah, I feel I
So
was Henrik Lundqvist, Carey Price-esque. I was a good
so no
goalie.
Stanley
I didn't have
Cups,
anything to show
but
for it though.
yeah.
So Dylan, I remember back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
you dabbled your toes into a little game that involved a soccer ball and some motorized vehicles.
Rocket League?
Do
This is
you still play Rocket League?
I do.
Do you?
this is
What
actually
rank are you right now?
I mean, I don't know.
Yes.
I've been playing a little bit. I can check. I mean, it's would it have gone down though? If I haven't played
it would
I
have
mean, you'd have to get re-ranked probably.
league rank. Let me see what my highest.
because this
Better
is
yet, I need to know your I need to know your total goals and total shots, and also
your
just generally wins.
your epic gamer
I could
tag.
probably look at it, but
Clan,
Okay.
so we can have a partner to play with.
Oh, I want to play.
oh
Absolutely.
yeah, let's go.
I got a PlayStation, computer, and Nintendo Switch. So I'll be in Michigan tomorrow night playing.
Yeah, I love going on vacation to play video games.
It's
So I don't
not
have to
vacation.
hang
Hey,
out with anybody.
it's not vacation though. It's work. It's still
Yeah.
work.
Are you getting paid the whole time you're there?
Well, I it's salaried. So like,
Gotcha.
yeah, it's a
It's
salary.
not
So
work if you love it. You love it.
I do love it. You know, there's always things that are normal work you're gonna not like about it, but I get to travel around the country.
That's
Like, come on, can't get better. I mean, you saw that Snowden was at Nashville, at the track in Nashville. He just moved there.
Well,
maybe you should go listen to John Street Podcast episode 19.
Oh no, what happened?
Yeah, just listen to it.
Did he not?
No, just listen to it when
What
you have all day tomorrow to just
did?
listen.
Wait, is it about me?
No,
no.
Does he
It's
not?
about Snowden's status in Nashville.
Oh no.
Why
Oh,
I don't know if I
you
don't
go
even know.
onto your
Like,
phone right now and you pull up our podcast page on Apple Podcasts, John Street Podcast.
this
and
is such
you-
shameless plugging. It's
This is
ridiculous.
shameless plugging, and you read the title of our last episode of John
Okay.
Street Podcast episode 19.
I don't even think I'm subscribed.
Yeah, you're not even subscribed to our fucking podcast?
Let's see.
To be fair, I'm not either.
Okay.
Why
I'm
don't
a
you
fan of not
why don't
liking
you just
my own
read
posts.
what that says?
What?
Why don't you read what that says?
He's coming home?
Yep.
Why?
Because in quotations,
Doesn't like it.
Nashville ain't it.
I believe the words of on the PlayStation party yesterday were, "It's a nice place to visit, not the greatest place to stay." I don't know. I think he misses the
Moving to
boys, to
Newark.
be honest.
New Jersey? Or Delaware?
Delaware.
Newark.
Yeah, he wants to be a gangster.
Yeah, he's gonna wear
He wants
tracksuits.
to be one of the many saints of Newark.
Wait, Newark,
To,
Delaware, or Newark, New Jersey?
Delaware.
Okay.
New York, New York.
All right. There's something deeper. There's a deeper meaning here. Tell me off podcast.
There's actually not.
There's
I'm just
not.
gonna blow it here. There's nothing. He wants to move back. There's just not much in there. Quite frankly, it's very simple. There's not much. What isn't in Nashville is here.
us.
Me.
Hell, I
don't often get to be an egomaniac, but when I do, I love being the villain.
You
So
are
I'll take that
really
line
good
and
at
I'll go
being-
to hell. I'll
you
go to
really
hell with
are-
it.
You are good. You are good at being a heel.
I love being a villain.
I do miss being home, like in the area. I mean, I don't. Everybody I know down here is just friends I've made over the last year, which
You don't have these
Yeah,
deep
that
roots
doesn't-
back here.
like actually,
Yeah, we call it Hotel California. Can't
We
actually
all
ever
hate
leave
it.
here.
We all hate it here, but we just hate being gone from it.
exactly,
I
exactly.
hated it so much. I just
I
can't.
know nothing else.
Well, hell, you're
Yeah.
you're building a life now. You married man.
I don't know.
Wild. It's crazy. How was the wedding?
I don't remember. Zach was dancing with a fedora on the entire time, a German fedora.
Really?
Well, it
Really?
was electric. Nobody went out to the dance floor. So Dom's grandmother and Alicia's grandmother went out there, and I went out there, and we got everybody wrangled up.
So you
True.
danced with the two grandmoms.
Yes.
Two grandmas know how to absolutely throw down a party.
We sat. It was dinner.
They
Yeah.
are electric.
Alicia and I were sitting at our couples table up above the dance floor, and we just looked down, and there's Zach and our grandmothers on the dance floor.
That is an incredible sight, and I wish just for a moment I could have experienced life through your eyes, like seeing that happen.
It was fantastic. It was what I wish I had, because my grandmother would never do that.
Yeah,
My grandmother
Zach's
is
grandmother would make him organize her basement again.
yeah, my grandmother makes me take down the Christmas boxes and whatnot, rearrange her closet, unclog the toilet, all that stuff.
Man,
I did go to a wedding with my grandma recently, and it was, well, I mean, not just with my grandma, my whole family was there, but she
Were
was
you your
there.
grandmother's
She was on dance
you were your
floor more than my
grandma's
brother.
date. Which brother?
Ryan.
How's
He's moving in with us actually in a
Matthew?
couple months.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
because
John, you haven't known a lot.
Sean moved out. You don't even know the dynamic that's going on, and
Let's
Even
let this
maybe
feels like a
not.
post podcast discussion. Let's
This just seems like you have to come on to our main show.
yeah.
it does sound that way, yes.
You know what else?
Join
If
us
you
next
come-
week.
Crazy.
Come on to our main show. You have to do the same intro you did for this one with the fucking lightsabers.
I can't wait to see that played
I didn't
back.
know
And
who it was.
you could also see me like kind of in the corner.
You were like creeping in. It's like,
Well, I saw your headphones. I didn't know who it was. I was like, I was like, oh god damn
That
it.
was
Dom brought on a guest while I have food poisoning. You know what I almost did?
just
At
left.
like 9 o'clock, I was about to text you. I was gonna say, I'm just not feeling it tonight. Let's just do it tomorrow or Saturday.
It worked out
And
perfectly.
then I did a little puff of the smelling salts, and I was like, all right, I'll talk my way through it.
I know we got.
And the second this podcast ends, I'm gonna go shit my brains out. But
Fair
I'm gonna be a
enough.
soldier.
Well,
we should probably wrap it up very
We
soon.
probably should. It is. You have to be.
Yeah.
4.5 hours. I'll be up.
Yep.
Yeah, but you can also get up nice and clear-headed, not the alcohol embedded minds that
That is true.
plague this podcast right now. I've had
This
more than
very
a few,
true,
but
and
less than enough, I'll say. Oh, yeah, this dude chugging
That's
that
fair.
Coca-Cola.
It's gone.
This
It's
guy
A little
done.
rum and
this guy
Coke.
needs to sleep, but he physically can't sleep now because he's on a sugar rush.
I'm gonna grab a
Yeah.
shower.
I
And,
can't physically sleep unless I'm drunk. It's
That
it's
sounds
part of
like
my
alcohol.
evolution at this point.
It sounds like alcoholism.
You know what's even crazier? In the past 2 weeks and 6+ hours, I haven't gotten to one of my scheduled Oppenheimer points. Not one.
He asked you.
Not a single one.
He asked you to bring.
I
him up,
know.
and you looked at me and you said, "Okay, the Meg 2's budget." And
That was hours ago. This is the power of the rabbit hole. Actually, I lied. I got one of them, which was the Christopher Nolan fans equal Taylor Swift fans. So I got one of them.
how
I
many,
guess I
But
gotta
that
be
wasn't
on
a serious one.
again.
how many more? Do
The
you
only
need?
meme one.
Have you ever heard of the inverted pyramid where you give the most important information first? You did the opposite.
I do like
And
to
you're
go
paying
against
for
the
it.
grain.
Uh,
I like to go against the grain.
oh shit!
I like to make 9/11 jokes and Dale Earnhardt jokes. But I feel like people appreciate me for that.
Zach,
I say what you guys are too pussy to.
are you ever gonna get these topics out, these points out, or is this
Yeah,
just-
Next week. Join us next week. When we
It'll
talk
happen.
when we go for Oppenheimer's sequel, Oppenheimer, JFK.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even talk about the thing Chris and I talked about in the car. God damn, we got a whole nother show to do.
I know.
God Dude, there's
All
so
right.
much.
JFK,
There
the
is.
John Hancock moment.
Oh fuck!
Or-
All right, Dylan,
or-
why don't you throw us out?
I'd love to throw y'all out. By
Throw
the
me
way,
out like a bouncer throws me out of a bar. Make me feel comfortable.
what's the name of this podcast?
John Street Films.
Broad Street Films.
John Street Films.
John Street Films. I knew of just the normal John Street podcast, but I didn't know that this was a particular off, spin.
We're all on the same feed, baby. It's a one.
John, do you guys have a website?
We have
Like a Wix?
Well, sure.
No.
no, but we have a link tree with all of our links in it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That'll all be in the description, so you can find all that shit.
Perfect.
Well, like
All right.
When this goes out, I want you to unshamelessly plug everything. Anyway, throw us out of here, Dylan.
I will have to
Shameless
rewatch
bar
it to make
propaganda.
sure that it's worthy of being shared to my NASCAR industry people.
Very true. Don't let anyone know you did this.
I've been reading that.
I am an
racing
unknown
flag through your
Hollywood A-lister. I
That's
know.
what I'll
I
just
know.
say. So that's
can
what I'll
see
say.
it.
I'll say unknown Hollywood A-lister.
Folic Racing, baby. You can see it on top of your head. What a he's planning to plug this the whole time. He's been framing it like Nolan.
They're gonna buy us out of our name and our rights, and they're just gonna do this John Street.
Yeah,
Films.
they're gonna buy us out of rights that we don't even have yet.
All right, but look what over
Wouldn't
here.
that be Hollywood? Hollywood. All right. All right, Mr. Unknown Hollywood A-lister. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, throw it now. Actually, throw us out of here, because I know you can. Your old broadcast voice. Throw that shit.
Throw us out of our own podcast. Wouldn't be the first time.
It's been a great time here at John Street Films, the podcast where we talk all the things ranging from Oppenheimer to the Meg 2, jumping the shark as Zach sips on his water-based lemonade solution, me, my Coca-Cola, and Dom, his whatever concoction he has in his hand at any moment. That time it's Yellowstone. Is that Yellowstone?
Yellowstone bourbon, baby.
There we go. It's been a great time here. About 2 hours talking a bunch of random crap that we really don't know all that much about, but we sound like we do. How do I go outro of this? What is the normal outro? Follow us on at.
I don't think we've ever done that before.
I don't think we've ever done that before. That's going to be really hard for the audio listeners to hear.
The only time you've ever plugged is by secretly bringing Dylan in here.
Yeah.
Who? I'm an unknown Hollywood A-lister.
Right, but I didn't give your last name.
Dylan Unknown Hollywood A-lister.
Dylan
I could
Dylan
though. I
Smith.
got all the power.
Dylan
Yeah,
Smith.
I'll be the Chris Rock to your Will Smith.
Dylan Boyle.
That's
Yeah,
exactly.
I know a Dylan Boyle.
Hey, he's sitting right here.
Yeah. From Zach Todd and Dom Patton and myself, Dylan Boyle. I wish you a pleasant good evening, good night, good hockey.
What a shameless
Jesus
plug.
Christ, you forget what fucking show you're doing?
What a shameless plug.
You told me to do a broadcast outro.
Wow.
Shameless fucking
The
plug.
propaganda.
God damn.
That site's been down for like 5 years.
God
Oh,
damn.
not anymore. Now when the dark web gets a
GNG
hold of it.
hockey.
I think I have that fucking t-shirt still.
Do you? I still have mine.
Yeah.
Oh, what a time.
Oh shit. All right, let me
Time
show
to
you
be
how it's
alive.
done, Dylan. All right, listen, we'll all be back next week. We're gonna let you catch a couple sleeps before your flight. We'll be back next week to get to all of Zach's points. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Maybe.